Good morning from Kentucky. Today we're gonna work on my 2018 Fiat Spider. This is the only new car I have. Well, wife has a Nissan Leaf, but that's the only new car I have. I really like it. I really enjoy it as a collector vehicle. But before we get to it, we're gonna have to remove a few cars out of the way. My son is about to take the driver's test in this thing. I don't know what the examiner is gonna say when he's gonna see this Trabant, but we'll find out. Here's this Corvair. I'm working on the mirror on it, but it should be done in a short time period. And then we're gonna have to remove this 240D and the full-size East German car, the Wartburg, and then we can put the Fiat on the rack. We have magically came over to my other garage. The Trabi is parked, and then here's this nice DeSoto, but today we're gonna work on this car the first time ever. So let's start it up and take it over to the other garage where we're gonna change the oil and oil filter on it. Well, let's look underneath what we find here. Here's a big cover we're gonna probably have to take off. And then it looks like a very nice new car, just a little dirty. We'll clean it up. I love this thing. First we're gonna remove this whole big plate here. Let's not forget that this car was made in Hiroshima, which is home of Mazda. So this is a 12 millimeter socket what I'm using here, and then I'm gonna go around and take all of these bolts out and let this plate down so we get access to the bottom of the engine. You can see the bottom of the engine, and looks like here's the oil drain plug. So I just need to find an appropriate wrench and get it out and let the oil down. So the car is from Hiroshima, but the engine was made in Italy. So now we're using the 13 millimeter wrench and open this valve up and then let the oil down. The only problem is it's really tight, so I'm gonna need to come up with a better solution than this. I switched into a different gear. This one has 6 angles to make sure that bolt not gonna go bad. Let's try it now. Yeah, that worked. So now you can just take it out by hand. I need to find the bucket for it. Yeah, the oil is coming out. It's almost over. It's a little tight there, but it looks like it was time to change that anyway. Here's the bolt what came out of it. You can see there's a seal on it, and then there's a magnet at the end, and we kind of inspect it, make sure there's nothing on the end which would telltale some sort of bad stuff from inside the engine. But this engine barely has 10,000 miles in it, so it should be fine. we're gonna clean this up, clean up the surface where this goes to, and then once it's drained and nothing comes out, we're just gonna put it back in. So I believe this is something what you can do in a parking lot in front of your house if you, or in your own little garage, even though if you don't own a lift like this lift is a big help for me, but it's a convenience, not a necessity. When you lift it up, I would recommend to lift it up here. There is a, wherever the suspension comes in, like right here, there's pretty good points here, or where these bolts are. So lift it up one of these places with your jack, and do not trust the jack. Make sure you put a jack stand under it. So this is where I keep my jack stands. So do not trust your hydraulic jack only, so use one of these and let the car down onto one of these to make sure that the car will not fall on you. Also, it's very important what surface you put this on, because if it's a really soft surface, it's not going to be good. So make sure that it's a concrete or slab or some sort of real not soft surface where you put that on. And I would lift up the driver's side, so when you let this whole thing down, it will actually move the whole car to the right, and then it will help the oil to actually come out, because the release bolt is on this side. So if you basically lift up the driver's side, it would make it really easy for the oil to come out. So it's still coming. So I'm not really in a hurry, so I'm just gonna let it drain for a couple hours and then we'll come back to it. So here is this pan. I wonder why is it full of green stuff. So I don't know, but I'm gonna wash it off to make it clean again. Here's my Tony box. Tony, because fix it again, Tony. Here are the spark plugs, what I'm eventually gonna change. These are NGK spark plugs. These are the numbers if you ever want to buy some. Then I got the original oil filter. So that's what is gonna go in. And I also bought some lowering springs. The lowering springs, we'll put them on a little later. And if I do the lowering springs, or when I do it, I'm gonna put these ones on. This is like a little spacer, what makes the wheels go a little wider. It's a proper one, even actually approved in Europe. So I don't know what the number on this one is. Made in Germany, there is the number right there if you want to buy some. And then I think the other one is the same. Yeah. These ones are coils. And the coils what's on it, they're junk. The Magneti Marelli coils, they are junk. So eventually, very soon, I'm gonna have to change the coils on it, even though it only got 10,000 miles in it. But these ones going bad really fast, the Magneti Marelli ones. And this is what all the Dodge guys put on their darts. That's the coil what makes the spark, and this will last for a long time. So if your car actually start developing a little misfiring and other stuff, this is the reason for it, because the Magneti Marelli coils fail in a hurry. Here's the number, in case you want to buy one, or actually 4 of them. I have a friend who lives down in Miami, and then I fixed his Dodge Dart, and he found out on the reading all kind of forums and stuff that this is the coil what really should be in it. And then he was telling me that this is the only oil I should put in my car, so I believe him. So this is what we're gonna put in. Usually I don't use Pennzoil for any of my cars because they have really low quality oil, as I understand, but this one is a little different. So if you see that exactly platinum, Euro, full synthetic, whatever that is, then this is the one what should be in this car. It's leaked itself out already, so now we're gonna clean it and we can put this bolt back in. Now we're gonna tighten this back up. And we're good to go. I cleaned up this oil pan, so now it's good to go back in. When you put this back on, I started with this bolt up front, and then this was a little tight bolt, so it positions it really nicely. But as you see, the whole thing is still loose. So I'm not gonna start tightening them down until I have all the bolts are in nicely by hand. And then once every bolt is in, then I know it's in a good position. If you start tightening down these bolts, it's not gonna have a chance to sit where it belongs to. So now I have all the bolts in. I'm gonna start with the first one, and then this one on the side. Make sure it's nicely pulls it up, and then we can finish up the rest of it. You must not use too much of a force, because you can break those bolts in. This little Makita does an excellent job with this. Now I'm gonna use this ratchet just to, by hand, I'm gonna just tighten them up to make sure that they have the right torque. It can be over torqued or under torqued, and then they're gonna fall out. And then once I did all of them, then we're done here. And then we can go to the top of the engine. I really want to clean out the radiator, so or that condenser, whatever it is. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna remove this bottom part, and then it will give me access to that air conditioning part, so I can get all the bugs off of it. Took out most of the bolts, and then the last one is this thing, and then you just need to pull this middle one out, and then the whole thing comes out after that. And then now I can get under this and pull it off. Actually, almost. There's a bunch of bugs everywhere. I still need to take these two bolts off. These are 10 millimeters. The other ones were, I think, 8. It's very securely on, so there's one more right there. I need to take that out on both sides. And there were 2 more in the back, and 2 more of these bolts here. It has 10 millimeter heads, and then it should come off. And a lot of bugs are falling out everywhere, so it's a good thing I'm taking this off. So again, for an oil change, you don't need to do that. I just took it off so I can put my hand through here and take off all these bugs, because otherwise I can't get to it. This looks a little better. I cleaned most of it, and then I'm gonna put these little plastic holders back on, and then we're just gonna put the lower cover up, and then now we're gonna start at the very bottom with these screws. We're holding like little, I think it's a little 10 millimeter, and then we're gonna do the plastic, and then finally the other screws, and then we're gonna tie everything down, and then we can finally wash the front. It looks pretty bad. Everything is back where they belong to. Little screws, the big ones, the little clips, everything is back where they belong to. So now we can lower the car and change the oil filter. The oil filter lives down here, right there, and then you just need to find a big enough wrench to go on it, and then you can unscrew it and then pull the whole thing out. I'm really worried about this battery because it's got this the acid started to come out already, so I really need to change this to a more expensive battery, which is not having the acid points here. This is how it looks like. It wasn't an easy battle. I'll show you where it was coming out of. When I was taking it out, at first the extension popped off, then the socket. This socket is like a 1 1/16 what I actually have. It fits on it, and it was a battle to get it through this and this. So it came out. Now I just gotta clean it up. This is how it looks like, the old one and the new one. You can see that some of these plastic pieces broke off, and I haven't found any of them. I tried to shake this one out, and it didn't come out, so I'm really hoping it's not in there. I tried to clean out the inside. I couldn't find any in there either, so maybe it chewed it up already, or I don't know. Maybe it's on the side in there. I'm not sure, but the way it goes in is just you simply just have this side which has these clips, and you clip it in and then put it back on. And now on the top it says 25.5 Newton meter torque. So you really need to make sure that that you observe that torque specifications. The new seal comes with a new O-ring, which you should have probably changed as well. All right, when you put the new O-ring on, you put some new oil on it. Just put some oil on your finger and then oil it up so it wouldn't be all dry. So next time when you take it apart, it will come apart. So now we can put this back on and the whole thing can go back on. According to Google, 25 Newton meter is 221 inch-pounds. So I only have inch-pounds on this, so that's what we're gonna tie it down with. Now it's tight. Now we just need to put some oil in it. Most of the new cars have their oil type on it, so it says 5W40, but that's not enough. So it has to be that Pennzoil what my friend was recommending, and then I think that's the good oil for this car. We put 4 quarts in it. So now we're gonna start the engine, and then we're gonna stop the engine and check the oil level. First we're gonna clean it, push it back in, pull it back out again, and then check it. Perfect. So with this, we concluded our oil change and the filter change. I believe this is something what you can do at home, and it's not a big deal, but I guess I'm fixing cars all the time, so maybe it was not much for me. That filter change is a little bit tricky because there's not enough space in it. So now we're gonna close the hood, take it out, and wash it. As you seen, I didn't push the hood down, I just let it fall. That way there's not gonna be any dents on the hood when you push it down. Oh, we got Tony out. I call it Tony because it's a Fiat, so fix it again, Tony. So it's probably many of you heard it before. So now first we're gonna try to get these bugs off. So I got one of these bugs off spray from box gun spray from Napa. So we're gonna start spraying a whole bunch of them on. Let it sit for a minute or so, and then I'm gonna try to wipe it off. It's gotta go on a dry surface, and it's supposed to take all these bugs off from the front. It's soaking for a while. The next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use some water from the hose, and I'm gonna use this Dawn squeezy thing. I'm gonna put some on here, and then I'm just gonna wash it up like it's a plate or something in the kitchen, and then wash it off with water, so it should come off real easy. Now that I washed it all off, now comes the drying part. I have that one of these squeegees, and just go over it. This actually gives you a better connection to your car if you like your car. If you don't like your car, that's fine. Take it to a car wash. That's fine too. But I really like to do this part. The car is done, so we can take it to the club drive on Saturday. So if you have a car just like this, or a Dodge Dart, and your car won't start after a long stop, and it sounds like there is no compression in the car, please look back one of my videos where I'm talking about exactly that problem. It's a very simple solution. You don't have to take it to a repair shop, or don't have to do don't even need a wrench for it. Just gotta do the sequence, and your car will start right up, I'm sure. So if you want to watch that episode, it's going to be in the description. Thanks for watching. See you guys next Friday with something else. Bye.